James Melendez, I have this fantastic wine. It is coming from Sicilia. It's Nero d'Avola from the producer Tenuta Rapitala. Stay tuned for this review. So I think this is a really fantastic experience where I was putting foot on ground in April and May of this year, 2017. And I think it was really amazing to be in Camporeale, where this particular producer is based. So here's what we have before us. It's called Tenuta Rapitala Nero d'Avola Camporeale 2015 vintage. So back label here is 13.5% ABV. So it just gives a really brief description. Nero d'Avola is Sicily's greatest indigenous grape. Medium-bodied wine and juicy cherry and floral aromas and spice on the palate. I'm a big fan of Nero d'Avola. I've been a fan for years. I think it's really a absolutely gorgeous wine where I think in many ways it really is that great expression of wines coming from Sicilia, Sicily. So it's a fantastic wine to pair with your dinner or food that you're preparing. I think it's really amazing, but it's also good on its own. And I think it's something where, on this wine, I don't mistake this for being any other variety than Nero d'Avola. Now, I like that Nero d'Avola is really experiential. That is, it's going to be very different from each producer, each region in Sicilia itself. And I like that it's coming really, there are some Nero d'Avola in California and around the world, but nothing like there is in Sicilia. It is really that indigenous grape variety that has found a great home, and putting foot on ground in Sicilia and Camporeale is, which is more in the western portion of Sicilia. So Camporeale is nearest to Palermo. It's not necessarily close to Palermo, but in terms of a big city, that's the closest big city it's located near. Now, there's also Catania on the eastern portion, but that's actually much further away. I like to distinguish where these wines are coming from, because putting foot on ground is also just getting that journey from east to west, which I did twice. And I think that's really amazing because it's a very big island, much bigger than I had ever expected. Also, weather patterns that I didn't quite expect either, which I think is really telling this story that's when we think of the Mediterranean, we're thinking super hot year-round. That is not the case. It definitely has winter, and when you look at Sicilia, it has really that interesting scope of transitional point. That is, the geography itself is a subduction zone from, say, the African plate to the European plate, hence Mount Etna. And I think that's the experience of where this land is just really, over time, changed, and that subduction zone has made an amazing agricultural paradise, and definitely for wine. So here's what we have. Now, this wine is 91 points out of 100 points. So on this, I'm getting notes of blackberry, mountain strawberry, a bit of pepper notes, black pepper notes, I would say forest in the autumn time or fall time, and freshly sanded cedar, a bit of violet notes as well. Nice. Next, the flavor characterization. So I would say on this wine, it really is giving a strong acid presence, and that's a really wonderful thing, especially for food. I'm thinking of cheese and charcuterie right away. But instead, it really is something to, I would say, enhance your meal and to experience that protein to the acid bonding together, making a great experience. And you can also do that on its own. I definitely drink a lot of highly acidic wines and with no food at all. I just really enjoy that experience, and not everyone does, I understand. But ultimately, this is a fantastic wine. I'll put more information on the producer down below. Subscription button's right up here, so please hit that button if you haven't done so already. And many more wine experiences, more wine reviews to come. I want you to stay with me on this great journey. I think Sicily is an amazing country for so many varieties that can, really, I think, be on your tasting table and to enjoy a lot of great dishes. And guess what? I think the price-quality ratio is just really outstanding. You're not going to find a lot of regions on the planet for imported wines into the United States or any other place on the planet that I think are just completely reasonable and give a very compelling wine. Thank you again for watching today. Stay tuned for more. Salute.